The countdown.
10,
9,
8,
7, 6,
5,
4,
3, 2, 1, 0.
You guys know I died. You died when I sent you this.
I won't hurt you anymore. No one will.
Yeah. Right? And I'm not playing no games. Yeah.
Well, greetings and salutations, my friends. I am Pops, and welcome. We have a special edition. I've got to get someone to do one of those. I want one of those CBS. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember that, or if you've seen one of those, like the old Christmas shows and stuff would come on CBS, and they'd have this little thing that would come out. And it would spin around with this cool little music. So I want one of those that says Pops, like a special edition of Pops, where I get to interview somebody or do something like that. Hanging out with the Flaccids. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for fitting me in.
Oh, yeah,
dude, we are
no
happy to be
problem.
here.
Listen, we're probably old enough, maybe, but regardless, I never watched CBS, so I have no idea what you're talking about. But
Oh.
I believe it's awesome.
Well, I don't know about awesome, but it is what it is. So, awesome one's already asking, what is a flaccid? Awesome one, if you have to ask. All right, there it is.
Yeah,
It's
look
the
behind
name, I
you.
guess.
Look behind
Yeah.
you, man.
Listen, awesome one. If you don't know what a flaccid is, I would go to the doctor. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, get it checked out.
4 hours is supposed to be the rule, my friend. Just saying.
Mhm. 4 hours.
Zach's, he's trolling us, so we're good. We're gonna be all right. So
Yeah, yo, we got to edit that Hulk. What is it? Mark Ruffalo versus NTR. We need to edit that in. Zach's versus Mark Ruffalo, because we were getting some action in our own chat earlier today talking about that. We need to see
that's
Yeah.
true.
who
Let
wins
me,
that fight.
I got to get a picture of Zach's, and I got to get like a headshot, something in there to do that. So sounds good. Sounds good. Darius Munchausen, hey man, hope you're doing well. And yeah, let's get to it. So, guys, I mean, obviously, I love your channel and thought it'd be a chance to talk and I don't know, put something on record, document something for the court trial, or in case I get subpoenaed.
Oh.
So, well, listen, I talked to these
Uh-oh.
guys. I don't know. Who knows?
Off the record.
Oh,
Nothing's
you're trying to
off the
clout
record
chase
on
us when we
YouTube,
become,
baby.
when we become famous for some high, what's it called? Some huge crime that becomes written in the history books. Pops
Oh,
is gonna be
yeah.
riding our coattails there, huh?
The
There it
biggest
is.
CP
Oh,
conspiracy ever. Carney.
it's, yeah,
Shit, no, it's
definitely.
Carney. Carney. We got to specify.
So, okay, first off, everybody kind of, I think if you watch their channel enough, you pick up on breadcrumbs, but it is sometimes hard to figure out fact from fiction and the history and all. You guys just roll together. So how long have you guys been friends? Like, what is like the backstory of like knowing each other, and like how did we get to like the YouTube place?
All right. Well, I'll just say we're 28 right now. Okay, so we're 28 years old, and we have known each other.
Say our address too. Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Okay. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We live together, but we have known each other for probably 20 years. I would say, like, of each other at the very least. We saw each other around,
Oh, yeah.
whatever. We knew each other's dads, that's for sure. But we didn't start hanging out for probably another 7 years or so, maybe 7, 8 years. How old were we? 16?
Yeah, so we we grew up only a couple blocks away from each other.
Yeah, down the street.
And then when he hit like sophomore, junior year of high school, we just started hanging out a lot more, and then we're kind of like, oh, dude, this guy is picking up what I'm putting down here, And it became to the point where we started hanging out, and people wouldn't want us together in the same. I don't think we've said this story a bunch of times, but they would
We
say,
have, yeah.
if Don's going, do not invite Gator, and vice versa. That they can deal with only one of us at a time, because we'd feed off each other's energy. You'd start throwing something out in the room, and people just kind of laugh, ha ha ha. But then, Gator would also look at me and just like push it, and then look at me like, yeah, you see what I did there? I'm like, oh, dude, that was great. Let's
Yeah,
keep
it was
doing that.
hilarious. Do it
I'm
again.
gonna
Do it again.
I'm gonna raise you and add 10%. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
exactly. That's 100% true.
Exactly,
And it's
yeah.
not like we were doing anything that was so extreme either. We always say this too. We weren't destroying people's stuff. We weren't wrecking people's stuff. We weren't like doing personal deep attacks on people's family or anything like that. It was all in good fun for the most part, but it was so relentless, and it was I don't know, different than I think they were used to. I think they were just mad they couldn't keep up, if we're being honest.
That is
All
100% true.
I think we could say Zach's is probably in that crowd. He's still talking smack about Mark Ruffalo. I'll work on your meme.
Rip him in
yeah.
half the long
Maybe.
way.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. He says you guys came out of the closet together. I'm like, Depends on the closet. I mean, just saying.
We are still in the closet with
Yeah,
each
are
other.
you serious?
Yeah.
I have not found that door yet. It's so
Yeah.
spacious, way more than you think.
And hey, I'm not sure how to say any names. You guys, how do you guys venture down that nonsense?
That's Gators.
Adithai?
I am
Yeah,
awful at
Adithya, man. Adithya.
Adithya?
How's it going, man?
All
He
right.
hangs out in
Hey,
our chats all the time.
yes. We've had some, so these guys are responsible for my Indian Cinema One exposure because we hear Chris Core. Yeah. I like this. I called him out in chat. He put it up and then he kind of backtracked on me about, he said positive things about Not Okay. And then he kind of like, oh crap, maybe I shouldn't have said it the way I said it. Cause he did. And that movie is freaking garbage. Oh my God.
Oh, really?
It's like this unbearable. So I do a show with Stone Loki. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he has this term where he talks about who these people are and he calls them scissoring hens. And David Mamet did an interview and he referred to the little guys in the room with these little rim glasses on. They're Jason. So all these shows are being written by Jasons and scissoring hens. And the show is written about them for them. Like it's literally like the obnoxious, white, leftist, horrible human who manipulates social media and all that. It's just all this nonsense. But my issue with the movie is that there's no redemption. She doesn't care at the end of this flipping movie. She doesn't. There's no outtake of her being a different person.
What movie was this again?
Not okay.
Not okay. Okay, I don't know why. I've never even heard of this movie.
It's on freaking Hulu or something. I enjoy watching this crap that's free, and because I figure maybe there's a normie out there that can hook a normie on one of the scenes. Well, then what happened was this stupid movie was brought up, and my wife and her friend, and the next thing you know, rabbit hole. He'll review it. Sure, he will. He's got time. I'm like, seriously, really? I'm like, yep. That's how it started. So
signed you up, man. See, marriage is a sham. Marriage is a sham. I'm engaged.
And you're about to get into it.
Yeah.
I'm currently married, living this eternal pain constantly, day in, day out.
Yeah, that's why we started the YouTube channel, because Don couldn't bear it anymore. I got to do something. I got to do something else to occupy my time.
She called me out. I was in the bathroom way too long, and she's just like, "What? You can't be in there for 3 hours." I'm like, "Well, I can be. Just get away from you." But
all right. So anyway, so you guys followed up, and Zach did as well, this whole thing with RRR and that kind of thing. So
had to. So
the response has just been crazy. This movie, how do you guys, can you guys give an elevator pitch about this movie? Because here's my thing. The Indian cinema has no problem just throwing every genre together in one giant freaking film. And they want to get 2.5 to 3 hour films, I guess, to get their money's worth. Is that your gig? That's what I figured out. I don't know what else to say.
Well, God, I'm glad they do, because I love long form storytelling now. It's great, man. And I've said this on our streams a lot too, but we live in that era of long form storytelling, I think, between like Zack Snyder's Justice League, The Northman, The Batman. What else? What are some other 3 hours?
Well, I mean, besides that, those are movies, but Game of Thrones and like Stranger Things really did a good job of introducing people, being like, hey, you can have event TV like an hour each week, and even binge models with episodes that are an hour each really got people into the long form storytelling as well.
Yeah, flesh it out, man. But RRR, man, I wasn't even super hyped out about doing an RRR review or talking about the content or whatever. But Don Boy was the one who was, ensconced with it because of Chris Gore and all this stuff. So I watched it reluctantly, actually, at first. But from the first 5 minutes, I was loving every second of it. As soon as they got out of that village at the beginning, it was just a nonstop thrill ride the whole way. And it's just the bromance, too. If you want an elevator pitch, you can just call it the ultimate bromance movie. And I think
I would also say that Indian movies also have this kind of just inherent quality that they're almost like Fast and the Furious movies, that, hey, these guys may or may not be superheroes, like super strong and fast and doing things. Don't ask questions. Move on to the next thing. Like that's the kind of what we just saw with KGF. He has these, like, he's almost like a super hero, even though he's not, right? So that's initially what RR is. It has that Indian quality to it, but then on top of it, it's like it's a retelling of their history, their almost origin story of their now country of India through two revolutionaries that never met each other, which is
not in real life.
It's badass to think, like, I'm trying to think of who you'd have with George Washington that they never met together in person. But then if
I was thinking it was like a George Washington, Abraham Lincoln thing, and it was like, but they were like like they were just shooting everything up. It
Well,
was more, it's like it was more like instead of Washington being like a general and Abraham Lincoln being a statesman, it's like they're basically like cowboys riding around in America, just blasting things and just doing these superhero feats. So
they are, but at the
yeah.
same time, too, though, it's like genius that they have these two revolutionaries that everybody in India is probably like historically connected to, but their names are also based on these gods, from Indian mythology. Or actually, Ram is a god, and then Bhim is like just a powerful mythical figure as well, or whatever. And then they embrace those forms at the end of the movie. And actually, before the stream, Pops, you were talking about how they put these movies, like RRR and Bahubali specifically, in these time periods where it's disconnected just enough from today to be like, okay, I can kind of just suspend my disbelief fully and accept what's going on. That's a problem like with KGF we were talking about as well. That doesn't quite do it because it's a pretty modern. It's much closer to the modern day than RRR and Bahubali. But with those type of movies, when they put it way in the past like that, I love it.
Chat's mocking us. Revenge Arena. I've never heard of that movie.
Oh, that's my son right there. Are you serious? Go to your room, young man.
Aditya. We know better. We know better. Now, they do say the extra length has helped Indian films become popular in countries like China. Cool. Good to know. And Zach's, he's in denial. Denial's not just a river in Egypt, Zach's. And we don't have Hulu here. Whatever.
In Canada, not surprised, dude.
Yeah.
Povertyville.
There is a garbage Hindi movie called Hacked where a college kid traps an older lady through social media, and when she rejects him, he makes her life hell. Don't know if it's similar to your movie. Well, not exactly, but some of the premises are there. Sounds pretty awful. I mean, I don't know about that, but so for me, it was the way I felt with Braveheart, right? Like the whole William Wallace thing. I didn't really care how superhuman he seemed because it was like it become like folklore or mythology almost. Like so, I was so good with RR, and then of course, like you guys, this filmmaker, and like he did these other two movies, and then once you see Bahubali 1 and 2. Then you can sort of see this progression of his talents as a director and as a creator. You can even see scenes. Like there's a scene in Bahubali where he's leaping, he has his arms out like this, and you're like, oh, this is the predecessor. You can see this timeline.
Yes.
But like you said, when we watched KGF, and I finished it this morning, watched some yesterday and then into today, because one of you said it, same thing I thought too, and maybe it was Zax who said it too. It's like if you feel like you're watching. Maybe not. Yeah, Zax is pretty subpar. I'm sub
Canadian.
Sorry. The Scarface part, like it feels like you're in like a Streetwise type of film, and it's like so when he's superhuman, and he's basically a Gary Sue, because that's what basically ends up happening because we don't get it. He's just some dude. He's like, why he never gets a scratch? It's like what on earth is happening? It is harder for us, and I keep saying that in my reviews as a American, a dumb white citizen over here trying to understand your stuff. We have a hard time. Is it hard for you guys a little bit with that movie? Because that seemed like you guys agree in that regard. You agreed.
Well, KGF, it came across as like very grounded at some points, and that's where I'd say my kind of red flag or whatever, what the hell's going on here, pops off for me because okay, is it grounded or is it like the more SS Rajamouli, Bahubali RRR part where it's like, hey, we're having fun here. We're kind of tackling serious tones, but at the end of the day, like, how ridiculous is that they are doing, like a piggyback ride on top of each other, and he knows it's like over the top and fun, but KGF doesn't feel like it goes that extra mile or at least fun part with it, so that way you kind of get confused, like you said, when you see the serious tone, and then he's like doing things that he has superpowers with, but it's not that far over. It's like pick a lane, just pick one and go with it.
Yeah. Before we were talking, Gator kind of had a similar reaction to me. Like for me, I couldn't agree more. Like we have all this stuff and he's throwing people around. He takes out 20 people effortlessly. He stands in the rain to be cool. And then for the lady, he's kind of drunk, but you don't know if he's drunk. And then he literally has a shot where he hits somebody, but then he uses the guy's hand to fix his hair. It gets he gets so over the top. I'm like, but the tone is like all over the map for me, man. I'm like, I'm pausing, I'm rewinding, I'm trying to keep track. And I said, I'm sorry. My biggest complaint so far is, I don't care. Maybe I'm racist. I'm sorry. You guys have got to come up with some different costumes or hats or something for that many mafia people. We don't have Bloods and Crips, man. You're going to have to give me something to go on so I could keep track of who's who in the factions. Not which characters are which, but like there was a blending of almost like families, like Godfather type stuff. But there
Yeah.
was a blending of who's hiring who and whatever. And I'm like, okay,
That was confusing as hell.
I actually had to have notes on KGF. I don't take notes, but I actually had to kind of take some notes to figure out what was going on and keep a track. So
Yeah. I had my phone out to take. I never take notes, and Don knows that. He takes a lot of notes, and that helps saves our streams to keep us on track. I say that all the time, but he does. It saves our streams. Otherwise, I'll tangent up the ass. But I don't take any notes. I had my phone out about to take notes, and like I said in today's stream, I did take one note, and it was just so I'd make sure to remember the line: "If you think you're bad, then I'm your dad." And that's the one note that I took. But yeah, normally I don't. But this movie was crazy like that. And in regards to the tone, I don't think that tone shift is necessarily bad, but what's bad about it in this movie is that it affects how the character comes off. If it's one character and he stays the same throughout the whole movie and it's just the tone is shifting around him and he's adapting to the situation, fine. But like you were just saying with that drunken scene, he comes in and creates that tone change, and it's almost like a different character than we just saw in the previous scene. So it's actually the opposite, because the interacting characters surrounding him, they're not any different than what was previous in the movie. But now this main character who we thought we knew, comes in and changes it for us. It's very, very jarring. But again, I don't want to make it sound like I don't like this movie, because I did like this movie. And
agreed.
Confirmed on this stream is the exclusive of Pops being a hat-based racist. He said it 5 minutes ago.
Possibly.
Hat-based only.
Only the hats. I have hat issues. I'm going to come clean. The first step is admitting that you have a problem. So there it is. But I did a review on Ala Vaikuntha Puramulu. Please help me out sometimes.
Well done.
Guys. I can't recommend this one because that tone thing, it's too out of whack. So this is played for more like a regular guy. It's like a baby switch story. So poor family, wealthy family. But the problem is the main character, he's like a model. Like, I don't even know who to compare him to. He's almost like uber pretty boy Brad Pitt approach, right? He's buff, but then when he does these fight scenes, and it's so over the top because it's a superhuman stuff. But then they'll have they have these dark themes and messages and stuff like that, and you're like, okay, I can't. The roller coaster ride, the ups and downs get so extreme. So that one I didn't enjoy. And again, it's set in like a real world scenario, a modern time. But there's a shot where like they're having this conversation. I guess it's like a bank or a lobby of a hotel. And he just starts thrashing the guys. I'm like, no one's calling the cops. Like, it's just okay. And there's a cop scene later where they talk about it. But I'm just like, yeah, it is a culture thing. I try to admit those things, stuff like that. Do you have to kind of, again, maybe some of your videos I haven't seen where you have to kind of talk to the audience that's from India who's like, I'm like, we don't quite get this part, so you guys will have to help us out. Do you guys have that too?
Oh yeah, I ask all the time, and I think Don does too. When we don't understand something, we're like, hey chat, let us know what the hell's going on here. Like, tell us what are you guys doing in India?
I'm not alone. I'm not alone,
because we just don't know. We're not gonna pretend like we do, but I'm not gonna beat around the bush either and like act like, guys, like, we don't mean to offend, but please tell us if we have cultural differences. I'm like, no. What the hell's going on over there, guys? We'd be calling the cops 20 minutes ago.
And the people in the chat right now that are here over from like our regular streams too, they're pretty, like, at least they can hold their own. They might not agree with every opinion we have. And like, if we kind of go hard at whatever Indian culture, like, I hate the feet aspect of it. I hate bare feet.
Nobody's wearing shoes in freaking KGF, man. I'm like, we're going to have this big fight scene. No one's going to throw something glass on the ground. Like, we'll slow this guy down. There we go. Like, I know.
Yeah, that's the part that gets to me. I don't mind the barefoot nature at all. I'm not like anti-foot like Don is, but yeah, the concept that somebody's going to step on some loose gravel or whatever, and it's going to scrape their foot up, and now I don't even know. That's horrible to think about.
Discapsicons Caves came up in here. Hail, my friend. Let's see. They are chatting amongst themselves, and let's see. Braveheart is a documentary he's access.
This is true. True news.
Yeah, fact check true.
Hashtag love Mel Gibson. Yeah, we need more Mel Gibson back.
Yeah.
By the way, we should do a stream, you guys, and maybe Zach's too has the same kind of love for Mel Gibson.
Maybe
we have to do Fat Man. We have to do Fat Man.
Do you love that movie? I've seen Fat Man. I was underwhelmed by it. I wanted to be better.
It's so absurd. See, love or like, it doesn't matter to me. It's like there are parts of it. There's parts of it, especially at the end, where I'm like, what is happening? I don't understand. And where else can we say we've seen that done to Santa Claus? Like, the more people who should be as traumatized as I am now, they need to go through it. So screw them. They need to go through it. They got to sit through it, and I'll do my part. So
Listen, you actually make me more optimistic because I've never seen this movie, and the only review I ever had was Don's, and he told me, like you just said now, he's like, he's underwhelmed. It wasn't that great or whatever. But so I'm kind of back on board with watching it now. If you think it's worthy of it, and even doing a stream about, like, oh hell yeah.
But I have to admit, I'm a masochist. I am not above watching something that's crap just so I can crap on it. Like, I have no problem telling people and warning people why something is crap. There's a normie out there somewhere who thinks it's good, and I have to do my part to try to correct them, because
That's what I always think too.
Yeah, I have to just be like, listen, there's got to be someone out there who doesn't understand what good writing versus bad writing is, so I have to help them out. And then I have to be honest with something like this. Part of my appeal is just the fact that it's treated as a Christmas movie, and it's just like it's just a freaking mess. It's crazy what happens.
Yep.
All the Santa Claus stuff happens off screen. Like, by the way, spoiler alert, don't think you're going to be sitting in front of this stuff with your kids and you see, he's in some red suit. No, all of him being Santa is all off screen. It is chaos in this film.
But I will say the better film is the Mel Gibson Fat Man crossover with Tim Allen's Santa in the best buddy cop movie of all time. Me and Gator are slowly writing.
Yes, I want it so bad. We need to write that screenplay, dude. Oh, Pops, you've seen Santa Claus 2 with the clone?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, Santa Claus 2 versus Fat Man. What's your pick?
Oh boy,
Choose
Fat Man's pretty
wisely.
tough, man. He is. Wow. Fat Man would play dirty, man. He's like a bar fighter. He'd break a bottle, jab it in his ear, short out the robots, throw some beer. I mean, all bets are off it, and he heals. Like, he's not. I mean, we're good. Yeah.
I'm
just
on
whenever.
I haven't seen the movie, but I'm on team clone Tim Allen Santa Claus every time.
I think even if the clone thinks he wins, Fat Man's going to come back and rip its head off. Like, I don't think there's ever an end to this until Fat Man wins. So
damn, this guy's an alpha, huh?
He's pretty good.
He's kind of crazed. I don't know that he's meant to even be an alpha. I think he's just alpha by default. Like, he's just like, no, just keeps going. How many streaming sites? I thought Disney owned everything. Well, they kind of do, but screw them. We just keep going and just do stuff. I don't know. Yeah, there's links around over some of that kind of stuff. So Rajamuli has a movie with Ram called Megahira. It's basically a superhero reincarnation type movie. Yeah. I'm with these guys too. I want to see more of Rajamuli's movies. It's just like trying to find a balance too. I don't want it to be like a Rajamuli channel. I want to try to be fair to some of the other Indian cinema. So,
yeah, if you go back in his catalog, the less budget and quality it is on that front. But we liked The Fly when we watched it.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
A lot.
That's the Ego one.
Yeah,
Ego or Icho, whichever one.
Yeah. But you can definitely tell there's a huge jump between The Fly and Bahubali, and we love Bahubali.
Bahubali.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And this is the one that was a big recommend today. Was the Yamadanga, which sounds like something my wife's gonna be like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's Yamadanga." Yes.
Yeah, the Flaccids told me about it. They showed me theirs.
So when you went down the rabbit hole and you did this RR thing or whatever, because Zach sent me screenshots. He's like, "Holy crap!" So because I did too. I was like, "What is happening?" Because I don't think we, and maybe your chats told you this before. I didn't expect country on the other side of the world to care what I had to say about their movie, especially because I did it like 3 months later after this movie had been out. I wasn't in our theater anymore.
Yeah, right.
Were you guys? I think Ryan Roger Athay said this in his Rising Star update video for you guys. You guys went from like a few hundred subscribers. We're chugging along. I think we had commented back and forth, a couple of times or whatever. Then that stuff happens. And it's like, bam. I mean, what was it? What was that like?
Oh well,
yeah, it's great.
A lot of our, and he doesn't want to take credit for it, but every time we've succeeded on YouTube, Zach has played a part in it, and just like this one, he plays a part in it as well. I was on a stream, he reviewed RRR, and he was like, "Yeah, I like this." He did he'll say it himself. He did a very bad review of it because he was totally new to Indian cinema. He's butchering all the names and references and things, and that video is almost. It's probably close to 80K, maybe approaching 90K views on it.
That's crazy.
And it was blowing up, and he's like, "Dude, you got to do that." And usually I message Zach's a lot about like, "Yo, you got to do this. We got to jump on Johnny Depp. It's blowing up right now." When our video blew up a little bit about Johnny Depp, I tried to get him to do a video. But then, so we like, "Hey, Gator, we have to try out this movie. Worst case scenario, we hate it, and we can maybe get some views on it." But we never thought we would get so many views on it. That's
And
one
it's a
thing.
great movie too. We're not faking it at all, too. And you know, it's
No.
actually nice because no one's really accused us of it, but we have people messing with us sometimes. We're like, "Oh, you just fake it, watch it." It's like, dude, this is honestly one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, it's in the top, you know, at least low double digits. And I'm being generous there. Like, I don't want to assume that it's just because it's so recent. You know, recency bias. It's a great movie. So I'm glad. If this had turned out to be a crappy movie, you know, sorry, I would not be happy of doing the review we did. Like, I would have been totally honest, and we probably wouldn't have had any of the recurring viewers that we have now. So I'm super happy how it turned out.
If I didn't like it, I probably wouldn't have done the review because I just like it. It's one of those things where I didn't have notes, I didn't have anything. It was totally unplanned. I didn't expect to like it that much, and I had a little gap in time. It's like, all right, I'm just going to throw it out there, and then I could say I did because I'm always complaining that people aren't promoting the good stuff. Like, I'm always trying to find ways to navigate.
Yes.
Listen, you know, this one's good, this is good. Go see, you know, this and that. I'm like, well, let me just do this and throw it out there. And I think it posted at like 10 o'clock at night or something because I hadn't posted that day. And I was like, whatever. I woke up and I was already at like 1,700 or 2,000 views. And then, of course, India's waking up. So then it went bonkers all day long. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm so excited because I'm happy to learn about someone else's cinema and culture. Because I obviously, and you guys talk about this all the time on your channel. It's just, and it's made me more curious about others. Because people have been messaging me about, you know, this Korean movie and this movie. I'm like, okay, well, you know, it's got to be worked into the schedule, my friend. I have a full-time job in life too. But did you get a little bit of that too? I mean, obviously their recommendations, I don't know about you guys, but I had to like have notes, and I actually have notes and stuff now trying to figure, because I'm having a hard time finding a version that has English subtitles and that I have the right movie because there are so many versions that get changed. Yeah.
Oh my God. And also too, over in India, dude, this is somewhat off topic, I guess, but when you search up these movies on streaming services, aren't you kind of like taken aback sometimes by like the 12 different versions they have of the exact same movie each time? How many languages, man? It's crazy how many languages.
6 or 8 is the norm.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I agree with you. I don't have notes of it. Maybe Don does, of all the recommendations, but it's actually pretty easy for us because every stream we do, no matter what the topic is, people are recommending us like a ton of recommendations. So yeah, we got a endless supply, I suppose. But it's true. We do want to start branching out and reviewing some other stuff too, as long as it fits in the schedule and if there's an audience for it. Because I mean, we're not going to make videos for somebody there's no audience for, you know.
Unlike me, I'll do it for nobody. Go ahead, Don.
Well, and like you're saying, Pops, that you know you're looking for good content, and then good content comes your way. We'll just cover it. It's good, right? Like no matter what, like Squid Games. I didn't go down a Korean Netflix rabbit hole because of Squid Games.
No.
What I did do is after RRR, then go into other SS Rajamouli movies because they're also on Netflix and they actually looked pretty good as well. But this is quality content, and this is what kind of bothers me about some of the circles we run in on YouTube. And you know, we follow people like Gary from Neurotics and you know, Geeks and Gamers, and I love their content. But at a certain point, when Chris Gore has been the champion for RRR or Triple R, and no one wants to watch it for some reason or doesn't give it the time of day, it's kind of like, dude, you guys aren't seeking like good quality. It seems sometimes like you are more complaining about things, and there's tons to complain about. I'm not saying they're lying, they're not lying, but it's like they're focusing on this versus seeing something that could be like amazing. Like this is not like this is a pretty good movie. I mean, it's pretty good. Like you gotta look past a few parts.
Great movie.
You can turn
from
on
start
mute
to finish.
But we should make sure Critical Drinker never watches it, because the moment he does, all these people will leave us for him. So we should just be careful.
They will.
Like, we don't want. We just make sure he knows this movie sucks. Don't tell Critical Drinker that it's good, because they'll all leave.
Yeah, and it's maybe that anti-British agenda that's in RRR that.
Good. They'll stay. They'll all just stay away. It's ours. It's ours.
Brits
It's ours.
out of here.
Yeah, we hate them.
We give our Indian people. We give them crap that they're still part of the Commonwealth. We're like, come on, what are you guys doing?
Come on, guys.
Break
There's
free.
enough of you. There's enough of you.
F the English, dude.
Yes, we're terrible. So, Gray's up. So yeah, Phoenix sandwich. We're doing it, man. We're doing it. Zax is here talking about generally the people in our chat can hang, and I get some angry comments, but who doesn't? I don't care about angry comments. I don't care about any of those comments. But I enjoy talking to people about stuff and taking some notes. Zach likes Fat Man. See, Zach's. I'm not going to say that it's really great because it is a mess, but it's fun as well. Pacific 414. Hey, Mike, how you doing? I heard the director wants to make another big budget pan-India science fiction movie with Hrithik Roshan and Ram Charan. Okay.
Who's that? Roger Mooley wants to?
I don't know which director he was referring to, so I
hope so.
apologize if I missed it. Yeah, if yeah, all right. So if I try to keep up with chat, we'll never get a chance to talk because I'll run you guys too long. So because I was with you guys did that little thing about the interview with the Russo brothers and Rajamouli, and to me, talk about class act. This guy, he didn't seem fake or phony. I went and found some other interview that was translated into English. It had subtitles, and they were all three that way. NTR was that way. Ram Charan was that way, and so they were very gracious. They're very thankful for an audience, thankful to get to do this for a living. They want about telling good stories and connect to people. I mean, I don't know about you guys, man. That just made me so much more excited.
Yes, 100%. And we hate the Russos. Oh, we don't hate the Russos. I shouldn't say.
No,
not at all.
They're so
we love
overrated.
the Russos' work, but Joe Russo, aka the Toad, I'm down on him now because dude, just be normal. Be normal talking on an interview. Yes, it was.
He's a helmet. He's a helmet. Like he'd never done an interview in his life before. It was embarrassing.
It was. But he was also trying to be this like intellectual god too. Meanwhile, they go to Rajamouli, just smiling, waiting for his turn to talk. And it's like so respectful, so articulate, not even with his first language. It was fantastic. And
you missed out the best part.
What's that?
He's a Mel Gibson fan, just like us.
Dude,
he loves Mel Gibson.
He credits Mel Gibson.
Favorite movie. He says, "I worship," and it's so funny because we did the RR review, and we want to talk about more about it because, like anything, when you're a fan of something, you just want to me and Gator always gets
it might just be you and me.
Yeah, so we'll talk about things just for a super long time, and the more you learn about things, you want to talk about it. So one of the things is, SS Rajamouli is a huge Mel Gibson fan, and even in our review, we talked about it that we can see certain things because we just watched Braveheart before that movie, and we saw some shots that look similar. And we're like, oh yeah, it kind of has very similar tones here. Turns out, huge Mel Gibson fan. He says he worships Mel Gibson, which get in line, buddy.
Yeah, based again. And that's the thing too, dude. Like Rajamouli just hits so many of the right buttons for me. I don't even care. Like if we became a Rajamouli channel or like had a huge Rajamouli component to the core of our channel at this point, I wish he just made more content. That's really the only thing stopping us from doing that.
Yes.
Because it's like in comics. You can't just read comics. Don Boy, you say this all the time. I totally agree with you. You have to follow writers. You can't follow characters in comics anymore. Because there's just so many terrible stories. It's inconsistent as hell. Like you have to follow writers, and Rajamouli is the exact same way. Even if there was some kind of a cinematic universe like the MCU, and there were a ton of Indian directors and American directors contributing to it, I guarantee you Rajamouli's stuff would be amongst the best. And that would be, you have to follow it, man. I view it the same way as comics now.
I was shocked that dude's been making movies since he was had to be a kid because he's like 40-ish, right? And some of the stuff dates back to the early 2000s. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's been doing stuff. So as Robert Rodriguez once said in one of his books was, you have to make a whole bunch of things wrong. You have to learn how to tell something good. It's not going to just work out for you. So I feel like that he's a poster child for that philosophy. Right. Zach says it was 85. There we go. And never thought outside of that little live stream someone would watch my clip. And just wanted to know, just wanted people who were on my live stream to give it a chance because I loved it. I agree. Hey, Paul, how you doing, man? Love Squid Game. Was really gripping. By the way, if you like Squid Game, there is one called Alice in Borderland on Netflix. I did go down that rabbit hole. I stopped there, but I did enjoy it. It's very similar, but it is different. And it was very high quality. It was good. It was good. I can recommend it. I'm not going to say high recommend, but I can recommend it. So this is an older film, The Maya Bazaar. So lots of recommendations already starting. So that's always fun. If you guys break away from the Commonwealth. Yes, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. So
what Zach was saying earlier too is he said he wants people to watch good stuff.
Yes.
And we too want that to happen when it comes to like kind of not obscure movies, but me and Gator love Mandy and Willy's Wonderland. Do you like Willy's Wonderland, Gator? Have you seen
Oh
it?
yeah, I watched it.
Yeah,
I think I saw it
yeah.
before you. Oh no, I saw it after you, but you didn't know it came out in 2021. Remember, I put it on my top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, we both seen it. We love those movies, dude. That campy. It's different, right? It's kind of
Yes.
genre bending. Maybe not blending, not necessarily with those two movies, but they're
Right.
bending. So I think for sure the Indian stuff is on point for us in terms of that because it ties in. Like it's lesser known stuff. It's not following the exact same formula as popular Hollywood stuff is typically. It's
Right.
formula for success for me.
And like Pops was saying, like you have a well balanced film diet. Chris Gore says this as well. So I mean, you consume like total, trash movies.
You can say it. It's okay. I do. Yes,
but then
I do.
it gives you it kind of makes you feel good about the things that are actually half decent. You're like, oh, this is actually pretty good. I've seen trash now. It wasn't just like Transformers movies would be probably considered middle of the road, if not great, if they were made today. But back then, when they're surrounded by Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, they looked like trash.
Yeah, well, I was a credentialed critic, so I would get, you get to go to different things. I did at least try to have some control to have to not see everything, so I'd have to subject myself to certain things. But you get your fair diet of just absolute letdown, absolute just shock. Just you kind of go through a roller coaster ride, and I think he's talked about this, and I try to talk about it because I'm such a honk for good writing, good production design. Because there's so much elements of care in your product. If people has a costume that makes sense, the backgrounds look like they've been lived in, everything kind of makes it. And I hate contradictions in the same story. And that's like all of Disney Plus right now. Like I can't get through an entire season without hating something, usually because it contradicts something that either happened in a previous episode or one of their other shows. And with this stuff, it is a little hard sometimes with some of the genre mixing. Like, because I'll tell people, because people ask about the songs because they're more familiar with like Bollywood as an industry, and I just say most of them have songs. I like RRR. The song is blended into this party that they go to, so it's almost seamless, right? And then some of the other songs are more like narration, like a Disney film would be. So the lyrics are the lines of the narration to move you along or speaking on behalf of characters.
Yeah.
There are others where that doesn't work because it's a very Bollywood feel. That's the one I was telling you guys about before. It's still a little hit and miss for me, but I'm okay with it. I just want to have something good. I want to have something fun. And I feel like so many of these, and I will say this, and you guys speak to this because, as a person of faith, I really have to be honest. Some of the turnoff for me has been just gratuitous filth and nonsense without any purpose. Like it doesn't even make any sense sometimes stuff. There'll be movies, and I forget which one of them was. It was a Mark Wahlberg film. The cursing was so off the chain I could barely follow the story. Like I'm like, do any humans talk? You can get us through a sentence. I can barely understand what you're saying. There were so many curse words with some of the characters. These movies, the Indian cinema, talk about wholesome. Even like the crazy action sequences, there'll be a pause and someone will drop some wisdom bomb. And you're like, wait, hold on. Let me pause that and rewind that for a minute and write that down for Confucius for the freaking day. What on earth did he just say? It's like, yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but I am blown away that I'm watching action sequences and then suddenly there's like these truth bombs and words of wisdom and life lessons just mixed in, just casually, like no big deal.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know if you ever watched any anime or anything like that. And I'm not a big anime guy either, but I've watched like a handful of anime or whatever, and the Indian cinema kind of gives me that vibe because a lot of anime is geared toward young adults or even kids sometimes. But I think in Japan, it's a very different maturity level they expect out of their audience, and they have strange censorship and stuff over there. But regardless, a lot of the time it's really mature, like background, right? Like we get in the Indian cinema, like there's a revolution happening and people are dying and occupying states and stuff like that.
Sure.
But there's not a lot of swearing involved, and it's really mainly focused around action, over the top action, mind you. And then they throw in these great little parables in there and these like life lessons that you would never expect, but it's like the dialogue heavy stuff that just makes it great. And I guess it doesn't make it great on its own, but it's that addition puts it over the top when combined with everything else. And it's missing from American cinema 100%. So I just wanted to relate it to anime a little bit because I think there's a lot of crossover there. Not with all anime, of course, because you get your, 5 pre-teen girls hanging out in their middle school for 3 hours. That's just the dumbest stuff. But generally speaking, I think it's a lot like a live action anime.
Yeah, the big Shonen Jump ones. That's what it reminds me of, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Gray is
Yeah.
promoting Gray is promoting a show called Bombay Crime. Says it's really good. The acting is excellent. That's good to hear.
Bombay, that's Bollywood. Nice try there.
Oh,
Gray.
yeah, come on. Dog whistle.
Dog whistle.
Well, I like the different like areas of Indian cinema and kind of like how they say the one we follow is like the Telugu. I'm awful
Don't say
at
it. Don't say it.
But they hate it when you call it Tollywood. At least some do. I don't care.
Oh.
But I don't call it that. I'm saying some people call it Tollywood.
Yeah, I would never say that. I would never say that.
I would never say it. Yeah.
There's some people that put letters in front of all of them. So it's like Mollywood and Collywood.
Yes.
I was like, okay, at this point, you're just being condescending. So it's better to just stay away from all of that because at some point, you're just like, they're just like mocking one another. Yeah.
Right. But I do like the little bit of the dynamic there between Bollywood and Telugu, whatever cinema, and how that other one, that's where S.S. Rajamouli is. He's not Bollywood. And you can kind of tell the difference when we saw that Brahmastra trailer.
Yes.
There's a clear difference there. And I'm a bigger fan of S.S. Rajamouli than anything else. But he fits the more unapologetically masculine, high action fun that I think KGF also falls into. But it's not Bollywood. Yeah, it's not Bollywood.
It is. I was going to talk about Brahmastra earlier, actually, when they were talking, and we were talking about, it might have even been before stream. We were talking about how the superpowers sometimes seem crazy when it's in a modern day setting, just because they don't give reason for it. But Brahmastra actually looks like they're going to give reason for it. They have like connections to the actual Hindu gods, and it's like this higher power kind of thing. But as time goes on, I rewatched that trailer for Brahmastra, and I'm just really not feeling it very much. I don't know what it is. It's just, I really like what Southern Indian cinema is doing way more than Bollywood. And I don't want to see that modern day stuff. I really just don't, unless it's in a comedic setting, kind of like what we get from Iga, I assume Three Idiots, and Delhi Belly, which I think we should definitely all watch together. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm just not feeling that modern day stuff.
So, like I said, I always go back to, because some of these films, and obviously, like, KGF definitely has like the John Wick feel and that, that sort of stuff. So, but in our cinema, we're used to where like we'll try to explain it. We know it's ridiculous. We know it's absurd, right? But he still gets injured. He overcomes. He was trained or whatever. In KGF, you're like, he's a poor guy who lives on the streets. He's just basically a god walking around. We're not gonna really talk about it all. Let's just keep the story moving, please. He's very highly motivated by his mom. Let's keep moving. It's like, wait a minute, we're not gonna address how we can do that. Like, okay, all right, that's
well,
fine.
Fine.
It's just it can be okay. But in some, it doesn't always. There are moments where it kind of takes me out. Maybe that's the best way to explain. Because I did enjoy the movie. I'm not going to try to derail my opinion or anything like that, or backpedal. That's for sure. Because I'm not doing that. So, Paul Bowler says, "The Silent Sea" on Netflix. So sci-fi horror. Okay.
I saw a trailer for that. It looked actually really good, but I did not watch it. It looks good.
I don't know about you guys. The StreamYard's a mess, man. When you could touch it, just go flies by. It's like, so yeah, no, it's just DJ Ronnie G. All right, man, how you doing? So let's talk about the channel for a second too and backtrack, because you guys are my guilty pleasure. I'm perfectly honest. Because, and you guys have seen me do it, right? I actually had someone message me. Your guys are going to get kicked out of this if you didn't hear me talk about it last night, by the way. People will think that I'm serious about hashtagging. Like, they don't get that I'm just having.
Really?
I'm a 50-year-old white pasty guy using hashtags, and these people were like, that's really not a valid hashtag, and blah blah. It's really not. I'm like,
not a valid hashtag. What does that even mean?
I don't know. I just was like, you're kidding me, right? I treat it as like a troll and a gag and a just a whatever, right? So, but you guys started doing Smash or Pass. And the one that I actually I thought I had downloaded a clip because I was going to play a little segment of. Did you write it down? I just want to know. George Washington was debated as a smash or pass because he'll tattletale on you because he can't tell a lie. I think I cried a little bit. I might have peed a little bit laughing because I thought to myself, could you imagine? Just George. I'm in, but one iota comes out of your. I mean, I could just.
So what, you want to know if we wrote it down first, like prepared the joke?
I don't know what else we're going to talk about. I'm just having some fun with just something that I loved, and I just like.
You
got me. That's all I'm saying.
No, we don't prepare that. Steven Ransom, man, is a friend of ours, and he asked us a similar question one time. He's a regular on all of our streams, or he used to be anyway.
Steven. He was one of the first people ever to like meme us. So I'm
Right,
okay.
yeah, he's an OG dude. But yeah, he said the same thing. He's like, "Do you guys like write down your stuff, or is it's because it's crazy how constant it is?" And that actually made me blush a little bit when he said that because I was just like, "No, man, we actually don't at all." And that George Washington thing, by the way, you brought up, I can't even.
so good.
I don't even care if it's like jerking ourselves off a little bit. That was hilarious because we were talking about it and it all just seemed to fit together perfectly in the conversation. Like he can't tell a lie. He chopped down the cherry tree in his dad's backyard. It's like he took his dad's virginity. Like that's hilarious. It just rolls off the tongue and rolls off the brain. Like it all.
Again, you guys have been together for 20 years, so it's like you just have this chemistry, and next thing you know, you're down this rabbit hole. And if you guys have not been on a stream, and I have to admit, I'm not a good wrench. These knuckleheads, for some reason, made me a wrench. I'm like, you guys have no idea what kind of crazy crap I might link to just to stir up the chat. I'll just start linking to Bollywood stuff. This is just the chat's too quiet. Let's just tell them how great this movie is. I mean, I have no shame about just doing. If it can remotely entertain myself, I might. So, but yeah, Smasher Pass Jedis and Smasher. I mean, just
Before the Indian cinema came around, man, the Smasher Pass Jedi Council, that was our #1 video.
First one, yeah.
And it was like around, I don't even know, like maybe 10,000. It was less than 10,000, but it was like 8,000 maybe or something.
Yep,
But that was our #1 video, and it's crazy how much better our Indian stuff did. But our Smasher Passes, that's like super fun to do because we don't just say, all right, Smash Pass. We go analytical with it. And that's the fun part, dude. It's
so absurd, and it's fun to be absurd. Like I literally, and I think that's what I don't know which of you messaged me back or how we have this interaction of a relationship here. I think it's mostly Don, but I'm not really.
Yeah.
So it's like I think the Smasher Pass comments that's where you got me kind of like totally hooked as a guilty pleasure because it was just absurd. I could just be listening to this and I would just. Okay, I can laugh for a minute. I can have some fun. I can think about, and then I just thought, well, I'm going to go on I'll try to catch them live. And of course, now they don't get. Actually, to be honest, since they don't give us notifications, folks, just pretend there are never going to be notifications. It's just easier that day. Just figure out the one or two things. Kind of have a calendar going and figure out when people are going to do things. That's all. It's just easier to just do it. It's fine because they're not going to cooperate. But hang out with a chat. These guys don't mind me coming up with hashtags and smashing past. I mean, I'm just like, I'll throw some gasoline on this stuff and have some fun.
Oh, you should. You should. It's great for the chat. I love the interaction. And spoiler alert, I guess, shameless plug. Next Thursday, we are going to do a Smasher Pass of RRR. So, just saying.
Yeah.
Show up for
we
that.
got some surprises in there.
They wouldn't think. That chat is hardcore too, man. Because I made a comment today because I missed you. You guys said something and I misunderstood, thinking, and I forget who it was. Oh, you're talking about Tamina, and that she was Rena. I'm like, she's not Rena. I think maybe Zach said it. I don't know, whatever. But I thought, no, that's not right. She's not. That's not her. She's not in that. That's not her. I thought, well, she's not in that. She's not in Bahubali. They're like, no, she's Milky. I'm like, okay, never mind. I know who that is. I don't know who Milky is, but okay, she's in the movie. I'm corrected. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Pops take you behind the shed. We gotta chill lesson, dude.
They're hardcore, man. They're hardcore. Yeah,
it's our Indian mafia, man. I love them.
But that's one thing too is if you take people seriously on YouTube when they start correcting you and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to grow my audience. I love you guys. It's like, no, dude, me and Gator are just us 100% of the time. We'll talk crap, and then if you can hang with us, then you'll stick around. And a lot of people in this chat right now that are from that are on our live stream, especially like Revenge Arena. They can hang. They like to hang and like to joke around. And
just freaking Japanese people just jumping in like this, talking smack.
Dude, this guy. Don't even
refugees. Freaking refugees.
He's that immigrant. Don't get me started on this guy.
By the way,
we're anti-immigrant.
Gray needs to message me so we can try to coordinate another stream. We do a comic book thing. We try to alternate channels and talk actual comic book stuff. So yes, it's good stuff. So all right, so I sent one of you a photo, or I put on your Twitter or whatever, man. I have to another one. You guys are so good at this. The RIP. Oh my gosh, my brain just totally cramped out on freaking Black Adam joke. The Widow's Peak.
Oh, Widow's Peak. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Widow's Peak genocide.
And I kid you not, that Saturday, and I took a screenshot. I had my grandkid for a minute, so she wanted to play with Spider-Man mask. I put it on her. We're watching like the 1967 cartoon. I kid you not. Screenshot: Peter Parker had a Widow's Peak, and I'm like,
yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my gosh,
it's real.
Yes, and it's hardcore real. Like there's dozens of examples all across media of getting away of the Widow's Peak. I'm like, I don't understand where this all started. I have to keep documenting that kind of nonsense.
I don't know. And it's funny because we're only, like I said, me and Don are in our late 20s or whatever. So we don't have a ton of experience with people, even real life from back then, let alone media. So but we assume now, because of this Widow's Peak genocide, I think that there must have been a ton of people in real life running around with Widow's Peaks before our time. You know what I mean? It's just been slowly phased out. It's like eugenics.
I think it does kind of get to grow that way. Once it starts falling out, it falls out this direction.
Oh,
This
dude,
is
mine's
where-
already getting there.
right. So you end up with this. If you just let it grow and just kind of groom it that way, I could definitely get that way. Go full on, Pop's Widow Peak. I could
Dude,
probably pull it off.
hashtag Pops Widow's Peak revival.
Maybe
You can be
it's
the
a
man.
fundraiser. Get me monetized. Let's go. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Our
I need the
poster
action
Start the
child.
movement.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like some person with the Widow's Peak committed like one of the worst genocides in the
Correct.
20th century, and you're like, okay, let's phase the Widow's Peak out. He's so iconic with it, right?
Like a
there's
Hitler's
no reason
mustache.
for it.
Like a Hitler's
Yes,
mustache
exactly,
would not
yeah.
be right. So we don't have a Widow's Peak, serial killer that we can all point to. No, it's
Right.
just something they're all doing. It's like Gingerside, right? They're all like,
that's weird because the ginger side goes one direction. They change the gingers to black actors or
POCs.
actresses.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's so weird that it's not like, hey, we're gonna make them not ginger, which that's just like, why are you doing that? Like, just make them a ginger. But they're all going to a minority, which is such a weird direction to take it.
It's really, really strange, by the way. Awesome one. Here's the latest effort at nicknames. Let's see. Pops, our Widow's Peak Godfather. Maybe.
Yes, Sensei.
Maybe. Sensei. I don't know. So how do you guys sort of, I mean, I guess you kind of answered the question, but it sounds like it's a lot of just fly by the seat of your pants and what you're going to talk about and kind of thing. Do you kind of have a structure, organization of how you're going to do all of that? I mean, how do you guys kind of, are you just kind of, this is topical, this is not topical, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do this? How do you schedule out a week or two with kind of a skeletal plan? What do you guys do to kind of do
Somewhat. Like for our streams now, we'll have at the beginning a few articles, and those are the ones that Don finds, because I like to react to things without seeing them first. Like if I find something online and I send it to him, like, have you seen this? He's like, I had this for our stream tomorrow. I was like, damn it, because I want to be real and like actually react to it or whatever. But when you're talking about our older videos that we just recorded privately without a chat or whatever, yeah, we just like kind of send each other a few texts back and forth, like, let's talk about this, and then we get on and just riff for a while. And that's the main thing I want to say too.
Yeah,
we riff to entertain each other, pretty much. Like, it's to make each other laugh, and then we post it for other people. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it feels like you're like in a phone call with us or like hanging out with us. And I usually like podcasts and stuff like that, entertainment that you feel like, oh, I know they're telling inside jokes, but I almost feel like I'm hanging out with these guys. And they're just so entertaining to be around. And I feel like me and Gator are able to pull that off somewhat. I'm not trying to like, pat myself on the back here too hard, but at least you somewhat get like, dude, yeah, these guys are just so funny. Or, they're just having maybe not funny, but they're just having such a fun time. Right?
Yeah, they're entertaining each other. That's what it is. It's like,
and
I'm going to be entertaining you, because I don't care if you think we're funny, you as a viewer necessarily, but you should be able to listen to us having fun and then join that mood.
Right.
That's really what it is. If you don't find it funny, I don't care. But if you at least acknowledge that we find it funny and it's like a positive environment, it's like, okay, hell yeah,
And yeah, I agree. That's kind of the appeal for me. It's like we're hanging out at a restaurant or whatever. It's like, all right, it's no longer funny or to me or whatever. It's like, I gotta go, guys. And you guys are like, all right, whatever. See you later. Maybe next time. It's like there's no hard feelings. I think there's. Have you run into like the YouTubers where like the stick up the butt, like, I don't want to do it anymore with you guys, or you're too much? Or you got into that yet? Because
no comment right now.
Not going to mention names, not going to dox anybody, anything like that. But you've already run into that.
Yeah, we definitely have. And it's not too bad because we're just kind of like, yeah, you're doing your own thing. Totally get you. So we'll just, like, I understand why you don't want to not be associated with us, but like whatever we bring to the table is not the flavor you want to put on your channel, and it doesn't bother us at all. We're kind of like, yeah, that's fine. I understand. Like, we don't want people coming onto our channel that are like I'm trying to think of a good example of it.
A prude.
Prude, but also like hyper analytical and can't like delve into the nuances with us. And we're like, okay, but why is he doing this? Don't you think, like, we're talking about the glass on the feet, a little earlier, and we're just talking about that, and we'll just dive into a whole foot thing. If they don't follow us there, then it's kind of like, okay, well, maybe you shouldn't be on here with us.
The third person's got to at least follow, at least laugh, at least something like that, just to stay in the mood. You don't have to find it funny, but just stay in the mood, maybe not even contribute. But it's like, we've never really had this, but if somebody were to come on with us well, actually, Don Boy's been on streams where this has happened, and I've listened, and it is painful sometimes. But if he makes a joke, or if I make a joke, and somebody's just like, "Huh, that's inappropriate," or something
Or-
like that, and then no one else
Oh,
comes
wow.
to his
That
aid.
said it out loud. I have to admit, you guys have caught me. I think we may have been on a stream where I think I was like this, like, oh my god, I'm on it. They're discussing anal rape of a celebrity or something. It was
Well,
like,
that's
oh my,
fine.
and I was like, oh my god, there's gonna be a screenshot of this. Yeah,
No, but that reaction's okay. What you just did.
but I'm not like, oh my god, this is just offensive. Oh my god, it's like I you know what? That's just never gonna be. That's too much of an adult in my bloodstream. But I already get stuff. You know how many comic creators have blocked me?
Really?
I mean, like a dozen. I mean, like I've met most of these people, or what? It's like so there's just humans out there that are just they just need to be in their own little bubble. Lock them in their room. Somebody.
Damn, man.
It's
If
ridiculous.
you're making enemies, I cannot even imagine how many
Oh,
enemies
yeah.
we're gonna make, dude.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. Speaking of genocidal maniacs. Oh, that was 5 minutes ago, wasn't it? India had many under the British rule, to which RR is unapologetic. Rajamuli made a less brutal version of those maniacs. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, trust me, if you're not into the violence, 'cause that's what I told my wife, because I was pumping this movie up for my daughter, and her boyfriend, but she's like, I'm like, no, you're not gonna like all the violence. It's not gonna be your thing. Scott Westbrook's here, hey Scott, and what happens, Gray? You get caught up in conversations about anal rape of a celebrity. Was that what you're referring to? You want to clarify that, Gray?
He brings them up.
I mean,
Yeah, he's the one trying to show us videos.
that's what we were. That's what we were. That's what we
propaganda.
were talking about. Next thing you know, Gray comments on the show.
He's like, I got a video. I swear your video won't get taken down, and there goes your YouTube
Say,
channel.
okay, Grace, this is the last time
Also-
I'll trust you.
I want to call Abomination AJ out in the chat. He's here. He was on our previous stream.
awesome.
He was trying
Oh,
to
yeah.
defend Mark Ruffalo, saying he's actually a really good actor. So just
Yeah,
wanna
I
call
like him
out.
better than Ed Norton. This is what he said. He's like, he's not the best actor ever.
Oh, yeah.
But he does a
Oh.
great job as the Hulk, and I would love to see more of him in other roles. That's what he was basically saying, and I wasn't feeling him on that. So
The problem is too, and again, tell me where I'm wrong. Like once an actor loses me, like I get tainted or turned. It's hard to enjoy them in anything. Like my wife's that way with like Morgan Freeman. I don't know if you guys know that story where he was getting a blowjob and wrecked his car with a mistress.
No,
no,
they were
I
like
had
in
no
like
idea.
They were like at a Toyota Celic or something. It was some cheap, rundown piece of crap car with some girl, whatever.
Well, that's
it's like
why the
just
car.
total. Yeah, she was like, and he's in everything.
Yeah.
So
What about-
anything he's in, I have to hear about freaking Morgan Freeman. And I'm like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't care.
What
But
about the Richard Gere story? You know about that one? The
famous
rumor about Richard
gerbil
Gere?
references.
What's his deal?
Yes, the gerbil reference.
Oh man,
I want
I
that to
lived-
be true.
I lived
don't
through that
think
being
it's-
in the news. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not fact checking that story. You guys can do that work for me. But just, I remember when this stuff was coming out and living through that, it is a little hard. And I have to be honest, it was hard for me to get through the Robert Downey Jr. stuff when you're dealing with like an unapologetic drug addict. And
Right.
I think he said it, I think in one of his early interviews, it was kind of like, well, I saw Keanu Reeves on the cover of a magazine with Matrix, and I figured, well, I can do that. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll just do a stupid action movie. I felt like he was trying to say that's why he took the Iron Man gig. It was kind of a weird, and yeah. So it is a little hard sometimes when you feel like a celebrity. And again, this is another reason why the Indian cinema thing's been so cool for me. 'Cause I'm like, I've seen interviews now, and they're like, okay, if they're really good at faking it, that's fine. Chat will correct us, I'm sure. But these are people that don't seem like they're caught up in the celebrity drama and all the nonsense. It seems like a lot of them are married and happily married and whatever, and they're just thrilled to be doing what they're doing for a living. Our celebrities are awful.
Well,
They're
because they're
mostly-
like without getting into politics, so we don't have to. But they're just virtual signaling to whatever side they want to virtue to, right? And it doesn't seem like that is the case whenever I watch interviews of Indian cinema, and that might be more so in Bollywood. But with Rajamouli, he talks about just filmmaking, how much he loves it, and some people were trying to bait him into that question with that female. Would you want to do a female action star or a female-led action movie?
right.
And
Yep.
and he was like,
the
he's like,
Russos, dude.
well, first off, yeah, the Russos are like, please give me it right now. I want to do it more.
Yeah, they like
Any-
jar.
anything
Yes, we'd love to. We actually have 4 or
We wanna do
5
10 of
different
them.
ideas. Yeah, why 1? Why not 2, 3, 4? Right now, they're coming out tomorrow. It's like, okay,
And
just
Roger
chill
Moore's
out.
just sitting back, being like, dude, if the story calls for a heroine, we'll have a heroine. If it calls for a hero, it's a hero. It's as
Like,
simple as
I
that.
don't care. I don't give a shit. Sure, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gray is still, he's like, yeah, denial's not just a river to Egypt, my friend. I'm just saying, we talked about our celebrity situation. So I do not talk about those. There we go. Too openly, very private place, not to creep surrounding people, even if it was a YouTube stream. It would be hard for me to talk about. All right, we'll try not to trigger you. Can't promise. So anyway.
We're opening you up, man. We're opening you up. We're going to get you more
Yes.
comfortable with it in a public space.
Hashtag open up. Yes, there
We're
we go.
talking to your coworkers about it soon.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, you guys both juggle like full-time jobs and other commitments, and obviously, relationships and families and things like that. Talk a little bit about like how on earth you manage and pull that along. Because one of the things YouTubers will run into, because again, I don't know if you knew that, but I've been doing this like I actually had the Pops channel back in like 2012. It was just like I was registering a bunch of these for someone else or we're going to partner with. And I registered a couple on my own. I'm like, oh, I'm going to own these myself. Someday I'll do something with them. And, you go through this, and part of the problem was when you do certain videos and you get like 9 views. Because I have videos because I have like I don't know about you guys, but there's like a 10% rule. Like if you have 1,000 subscribers, about 100 views or 100 repeat people is pretty solid. It's about a 10% rule.
Right.
But I'll do like a lot of clips and a lot of things that I'm just doing to kind of keep the algorithm fed. And some of those videos, they'll start off with like 9, 15. So it'll take a day or two for those 100 people to get around, especially if it's on a weekend. They'll be like, I'll catch up with them on Monday. Probably they're not watching in live. But how do you juggle that roller coaster of balancing life and the amount of work that this actually does take?
Oh man, dude, I said this before stream, man. Don is like the fucking is like the driving force behind it, because we are lucky enough, because I work a full-time job. I have about 10.5 hours of most of my days. I get, my average weekend or whatever, but then I have a bunch of other commitments that I have too. I'm a guitar teacher and a few other things as well outside of work. So it's really difficult for me to do any of the logistical like video editing stuff, but Don is lucky enough to have had the last few months basically obligation free. And so he's been able to pump out so much content, and it has brought our channel to where it is. So it's really great that he's had the opportunity. And I hope that we get the opportunity again. Maybe I'll get fired. I'm kind of hoping that I get fired at some point.
Some of the stories sounds like you go pretty close. I'm just saying.
Well, no,
Yeah,
other people are
right.
getting close. Not
Well, that's true, but they're gonna drag him down. Is the problem? They start
That's
telling him
true.
stories like you're in HR too, buddy.
Yeah, listen, I was told that I'm going to be brought into HR at some point, at the very least, just to be a witness to some of the shenanigans that's gone on. So I don't know if I'm going to be drug into it or whatever. But either way, I seriously, if there's ever a point where I am also obligation free, or if Don is then working full time and I'm the one who's obligation free, that's going to be the only way I think that we're going to be able to keep it as full steam as it's been. And I hope that does happen at a certain point.
Yeah, we started our channel. When was it? The fall of last year, right?
I think it was
And
October.
we just started cutting our teeth. We started recording stuff, and we're like, "This isn't good. This isn't good. Let's just keep going." And we would be on phone calls, but there's like a little bit of a barrier sometimes when you're trying to record things. At least with us, and some people. Well, at least for me, I would just kind of hear myself, and I'd get self-critical about it. But you just literally have to keep going. And we did that for a while. Then the summer I had off, basically because I didn't want to do an internship somewhere. And then eventually did intern with Chris Gore because that fell in my lap thanks to my Canadian boy Zax.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do. Yeah, I am doing a lot of the stuff here. But it is, I think it's time well spent, honestly. Like we said, if we're going to do this, we're going to like go all out on it, and we have to cover the wall with crap to see what sticks, because if we don't, we're just going to be throwing darts, and you know how it is, Pops. You just like make a video and you're like, oh, that one did well, I'll do another one on it. Nowhere. It's like, okay, dude, you have to like, you got to feed the algorithm so much to like then get a profile, see what people like, and hopefully around that time you can develop your own channel and your own feel for it. But I don't know if I'd want to do a YouTube channel by myself. For me, I don't think I can take myself that seriously, and I like just hanging out with people. I like streaming with people.
Oh God, that's what we were talking about earlier too, with the streaming and stuff like that, especially with the way that we like to talk. It's like there's certain times, like I've watched Don on streams by himself or whatever when I'm at work or whatever, and sometimes people just aren't feeling it, and I feel so bad because I'm like, man, we got to get the energy up, if only I could jump in there. And he's texting me too at the same time, like, oh man, we got to. If you were here, man, we'd be owning this thing, and it's true, and that's why it's good when there's two of us, because if one of us throws something out and we're both there, and it's kind of maybe touchy or abrasive or something like that, the other people either might legitimately dislike it, or they might be kind of gauging, reading the room, seeing if it's going to be well received or not. And then it might fall flat. There's actually a good chance it will fall flat if there's only one of us. But if the other guy's there, to immediately go, oh yeah, right away after the first guy said the crazy thing, then it's in. Now it's the main focus of the conversation, regardless if anyone likes it. You know, it's like, screw you guys. Like,
Right.
this is what we're gonna
I
say.
just think this is who you guys are. So when I see one of you, I just figure, well, you're just doing the same shtick you always do. That's because just who you are. So I feel like anything
Yeah.
I do, I'm just going to throw gas where the gas would normally go, because I just feel it's part of the shtick. So when I throw hashtags of smash or pass and wicked peak jokes and all that's going to land, because that's just part of who you guys are. It's not like some sort of front that's done when you're together. It's just that's who you guys are. So
No, and actually, you know what, too? Well, the reason why I said that last thing a second ago was just because Don said he would never want to do a channel by himself, and I feel the same way. So that's the reason why I said that. I didn't want it to come out of nowhere. But we actually have been talking about making a YouTube channel or like a podcast or something for literally 10 years.
Yes.
Literally 10 years, because we just banter and it's never happened. And I kick myself all the time. Like, why didn't we just do this, dude? Like, we'd be so much further ahead. It's crazy. We had all the resources and we had way more time in the past, especially back in even 2 years ago in 2020. We were doing virtually nothing at that point. Like, because the pandemic was happening. I wasn't working. Don Boy had like online school or something, right? Were you in school at that time?
2020, you saying?
Yeah.
Yes, I
Did
did.
you have
It was
only online,
then,
right?
and then I had the summer off. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that would have even been better than
Yes, that
now.
would've
But
been- yeah.
well,
Whatever.
Whatever. Do it now.
It's like what? It's like investment, right? The best time to invest was yesterday. The next best time is today. So
Yes.
you have to do it today. If anyone's thinking about doing a YouTube channel, just record yourself or try to like network with people and see if you can jump on and talk about certain things and just get the hang of it. Maybe it's not for you. You know, maybe you hate like listening to your voice and stuff like that. But if you have any inclination of doing it, just do it now and then just get all the crappy stuff out of the way. That way you can actually build a decent channel in the future.
it's true. Very true. And I got to be honest, and we also need people that can help us doing little menial things. Like, we don't have money, right? So it's like, YouTube's not going to like, get us to be retired tomorrow, despite what Gray's trying to throw in the chat, thinking that we're retiring. But, this even like thumbnail work and stuff like that, it's just time consuming. It could just, it could just be frustrating. And then, like you said, you never know what's going to work. You just don't. There's just no way around that. So,
and Pops, you reached out to me one time about my thumbnail stuff, and I'm actually thinking about doing another channel where I'll just have all those videos over there, which will basically just say like, hey, how can you recreate X YouTuber's thumbnail? And I'll show you on PowerPoint how you do it. And if people are interested in that, I'd be more than willing to do that, but I don't want to send things out to the void that no one watches or no one.
I
It's
want
gonna
one.
be a time sink,
Yeah, I want one. So I'm just going to selfishly tell him you should at least do one. Just do one. And that's all I care about. So at least I get one video I can refer to. So chat's still going back and forth, all sorts of different things. And we're only going to go for a few more minutes. I'll let these guys go. We're going to have more stuff tonight because it'll be on Zach's. You're going over to Zach's, right? Is it?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I don't know what time it is my time. I think it's 10:15 my time. So it's a few hours from now. Give you guys a chance to eat. Do whatever else you got to do. So I think Donna, we were messaging about PowerPoint, like how did you get to do this, how you get to do that, because it's like you see these things and people act like they're so open, but then you can't get like simple little clues like, well, what font is that?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
How did you get that layer to work like that? I can't get that layer. I can't get layers to work like that. I know it sounds silly to you people at home, but it's like, to us, we're trying to level up, right? How did you get that intro, or how did you make this? And right now I'm stuck because I like, how do you get a YouTube overlay that looks good? I can't I don't have a bunch of money to pay someone to make me an overlay, but I'm like, I cannot figure it out for the life of me.
Right.
So stuff like that. It's just, but though, if you want to start though, you could just start, just figure it out, just jump in, just do shorts, go to your phone and freaking make shorts. I know that's not my thing. I'm dabbling with them a little bit because I'm treating shorts like a way to document my cards and comics, particularly if I sell one. It's like, farewell, little card or comic book. I'm not going to see you again anytime soon, but maybe someone will know you exist. And there you go, out into the wild.
Oh, God. That's how Star Wars Theory got started on YouTube. You know that? He has massive YouTube channel. How many subs does he have now? Like 3 million, 4 million?
Something ridiculous.
Something ridiculous. But I remember him telling the story, and he used to have like on his phone, he recorded little 2-minute videos, put like a random Star Wars picture as the thumbnail with some like shittily done text over it. And he just put out one of those videos like every few days or whatever. And within 2 years, he was at 1 million subs.
Wow.
And it's just like, holy, that's insane, man. Like he really was filling that void with something people want. And man, that's what people need to do.
Like I said, and you have to find your voice, right? So I think what you're saying earlier, Don's so true. I could do a video, you could do one just similar. It just goes nowhere. So for me, I've had to, and I've done this because I've been on other channels that are not active anymore. I've done stuff with other people, and it's like you kind of have to start just doing it for the sake of doing it and enjoying it. And I'm like you guys, I love the live streaming element. I wish I had more days where I was free to do that. Because like you said, it's just like hanging out. If we were meeting up somewhere, we're going to meet for lunch or dinner or whatever, we'd probably be having a similar conversation. We'd just be talking about,
Right.
maybe we would be talking to the chat, or maybe the conversation wouldn't steer down every avenue. But for the most part, we'd probably just be talking about the same movies that we like, talking about some others and things like that. And that's kind of what I love about all this. So let's see. What days do you guys, just a little plug in, what days do you sort of have as like a set schedule, so to speak? Because I know you do Thursdays for sure. That's the one I always tend to wander into.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday should be our schedule around 11 o'clock Central Time. So that's 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time. That's when we've been streaming so far, but our schedule is going to be changing in the next couple weeks. So as much as people want to get used to it, we'll try to do it like a later, or it'd be an early stream for Americans, but a later stream for our Indian audience, because we do like covering that stuff. And it's not just like hey, I'd like you to click on my video. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel about this, just like how we did with KGF today. But we'll try to do one earlier for them, or at least set a premiere for them. And then but Gator is hopefully going to be moving to days.
Yeah, it's a day shift.
And then we'll be able to stream closer to night, and then we're going to navigate those waters, because I know a lot of people stream towards the night, kind of like right around this time of the day throughout the week. So be ready for us to be changing our stream schedule here soon.
Yeah, but our plan is to still have one Indian stream, Indian focused stream per week, and then the other two, we want to come up with consistent stuff so that you guys have like a show that is going to come on at a certain day at a certain time. You know what I mean? It's not just going to be, okay, FLACCID PHOENIX is streaming, but who knows what the hell they're going to talk about. It'll still be different, but it's going to have a theme. We kind of want it to have a main theme for each day we stream.
Sure.
It's up in the air, man. It's up in the air. In progress.
I gotcha. That's awesome. What has been the thing that has surprised, not an easy thing, like we kind of talked about, like this video blew up, so therefore I got a lot of views and a lot of subs or whatever, more like the YouTube social structure or how everything works. Like what's been the one thing that has surprised you the most?
God, surprised us the most. Downboy, what do you think about that?
Surprised me the most while being on YouTube, just in general, with just other things. I don't know. I do like the openness of this community. I think my biggest kind of like, wow, that was really nice. I did not think some people were like this kind of nice on here. I was going to think it's a little more, I don't know, cutthroat or whatever you want to call it. Zach's, I keep saying his name. He's like one of the most real dudes I've met on YouTube, and just been super cool.
Agreed.
And just like a bro with you. And some people, like, you always kind of think, you're like, do they really like me? I don't know. They're just being like professional, because you want to put a professional face
like
up.
me. They like me.
Yeah, I mean, he might be blowing smoke up me, but whatever.
Yeah, listen,
it feels good at this point.
Zach might be the biggest strategist ever, and he has been bullshitting us all the whole time, and he's in it for himself. But definitely does not come off that way. I think.
Well, he's wearing a gray tank top in front of us now, guys. So I got to be honest. If he had hair, the hair would be let down. So he's gone full,
I'm just waiting for him to wear that Justin Trudeau mask he's got behind him and all of his live streams. It's actually kind of Inception.
Intro, just rocking out.
Justin Trudeau cosplaying Aladdin or whatever it was. No, I think the most surprising thing is actually, I know it's not easy to get views or anything, but it's surprising that people want to listen to us talk. That's what the surprising thing, I think, to me is. I mean, I like to listen to us talk, and I like to talk between the two of us or whatever. But I'm just surprised that the audience is like so vast and such a variety too. Like our Indian audience, that's the perfect example. They're on the other side of the world, and it's like, how do you guys? I'm surprised that they have the same sense of humor as us. You know what I mean?
Yes, that is the part. I think
that's big. Mm-hmm.
I think it's not so much that, oh wow, we tapped into an audience like of the second most populated country in the world, right? We tapped into that.
Like
right? It's not like that, or like I'm saying, like the views wise, it's that people watched it and they actually liked us, right? And I think that's a harder thing to tap into, because we could just be so milquetoast. I see so many people do that. We're like, "Hi, we're reviewing RRR," and they're like, or like some random trailer that the chat's telling them to review, and they're like, "Oh my, that's awesome! How are they doing that?" And me and Gator will pause and be like, "That Brahmastra, we're taking a turd on their like most popular actor of all time. We're like, this guy's not embracing the bald. This guy is bald, and we know it. And we had no idea who it is, but we don't care. Like, whatever. We took a turd on your like most beloved actor in India of all time, at least in Bollywood. Whatever. I don't care.
I knew I would like you guys too, because you were like me. I'm like, Bala la diva. Like, you got too many syllables in this character's flipping name. Somebody hit delete and take out a couple of letters, please. Thank you. Let's move on.
Yes, seriously.
Like sometimes you guys do names and you're like, that's not going to go well for the rest of the world. Can you and can you stop making movies where like you have 2 or 3 characters that have all the same names with 1 letter change, like Atu and Amu and Ath? No, stop already.
Enough.
Please.
Bad. Spanking for you.
We try not to put John, Don, and Ron's in the same movie. It's probably not a good idea for us either. You gotta come down a little bit for us. So Zach's is admitting he's playing the long game, little 4D chess. So we've been warned.
Well, all right. Well, thanks for the warning, man. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, listen, guys, all of the description will have their links. You guys can connect to them, put on your big boy pants so you don't get offended, because they are not PG-13. They did that for me and my audience, and I appreciate it. I love it. They're my guilty pleasure. I've told them that. We've been interacting for a long time before we were able to get them on the show, and I hope you guys will enjoy it as much as I do. So anything else you guys want to throw out there, plug, or even ask me, because we got a chance?
I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to...
I mean, we'll be on Zach's stream tonight.
That's true.
Yeah, later on. I think we're going to come in on this a little bit later, but we're going to be on there. So check it out.
Well, Pops, real quick, what's your favorite Mel Gibson movie of all time?
On the spot. Go.
It's Braveheart. I mean, it's almost like cheesy to even say that, because I just feel like it's just such a cop out, but it's so incredible. Like, oh my gosh, it's like next level. But again, like you guys were saying earlier, and I grew up on this stuff. Like, so for me, my early Mel Gibson stuff was probably VHS Mad Max stuff. Like, whoa, this dude is so flipping cool. Like, he didn't even have to talk. He could just be cool. Like, I just loved it all so much. And then once you got to Lethal Weapon and stuff, it is like this hardcore commercial. Like, it's just so good. Right. But I will say this, Mad Max, Mel Gibson story, the biggest shame ever. Right. So I live in Florida. High school, we would skip school all the time, like senior year. Went to the beach, got super sunburned. For some reason, we thought it would still be okay to go to a movie. We went and saw one of the Lethal Weapon movies, and I fell asleep in the theater.
Oh no!
Oh no! Who's ever done that before? Oh, wait,
my friends were cruel to me to fall asleep at a Lethal Weapon movie. I mean, cruel. Like, yes.
Yes, a Lethal Weapon movie, Gator. What movie did I fall asleep into?
That's true. Okay, I was going to compare it. You're right. He fell asleep during, I believe it was The Hobbit 2, right? Desolation of Smaug. Okay. Listen, honestly, though, that's the best Hobbit movie. So you fell asleep during the little cherry sitting on top of the shit pile.
Do you remember what I was doing right around that time in my life? Do you remember it all?
Yes, swearing more than you ever sworn in your life.
That's true. Got me.
Yeah, that is true. Got him. He was in great shape, though, so I don't want to knock that too much. But yeah, shame on you, Pops, falling asleep during a Mel Gibson movie. Are you serious right now?
Like, literally, like sun poison, passed out. But so listen, he thinks we could get an interview with Rajamouli. Now, I have to admit, I do tweet at him regularly when I try to post things. I purposely started tagging you guys too. I thought maybe we should just start teaming up. Like, if we all start doing it, it starts to sound like there's more than one. All the Indian people are retweeting and liking. Maybe we eventually exponentially can keep at it and something will break through. That's what I think. Maybe.
Yeah, it could definitely happen. Yes. We need to just pump out the Mel Gibson, because I feel like if we have a bunch of videos kind of jerking him off, he'll go to the channel, and I think that's a little bit less appealing than if it's a jerk off of something that he also jerks off. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think we got to all step up our Mel Gibson content.
Our ideal situation, me and Gator talked about it, is SS Rajamouli interviewing or having a conversation with Mel Gibson, and we're also there.
Oh yes.
That's because then he's like, oh, this is so cool. I'm here with Mel Gibson. And we're like, dude, SS Rajamouli's here and Mel Gibson. Like,
you guys can just discuss. We're just
I'll be busy over here. Don't look over here.
Yeah, that's the end game for us, though.
Brett's chiming in. I had people kick me in the cinema for snoring. Okay, Woke up. Yeah. Well, I didn't. As far as I know, I was not snoring or anything like that. I think it was just the mocking that I fell asleep. I think it was probably Lethal Weapon 2. I have to look at the dates. But we've been at the beach all day. I was super sunburned and stuff because I was just dumb high schoolers.
When you stood up off the leather seat, did your skin suit stay behind?
Actually, they weren't all leather back then. That's how old this man is.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Sorry. When I worked at the theater, and no, those were not all leather back then. They were like cloth seats back then. So sorry about that.
Show us your ID. Prove it.
Yeah. Show us driver's license.
Right
nah,
there, bro.
My hair's thinning too, and I'm only 28, so
That's true.
Invalid in the state of wherever you.
All
live.
right, folks. I'm going to chat with them behind the scenes for just a quick second before they go. We can't thank them enough for hanging out with us. As I always like to say, go out there, make tomorrow a little bit better than today. Just a little bit. Do your part. Do something. And be blessed. Go out there and talk hard. I have no idea where my outro is. Oh my gosh. Maybe I deleted it. There we go. Let's go with we're going with Bob Ross. A little chill time, man.
Ross.